You stand in front of the fridge. The door is open. Cold air spills out like fog from a crime scene. You are hungry but not starving, tired but not exhausted, yet your mind freezes as if something important is at stake. This is the first lie. This is a simple choice. Before you even look at the options, your brain is already heavy, not from food but from the day. Decision fatigue sets the stage. Every email answered, every message ignored, every small compromise has drained you. Now your nervous system wants relief, not responsibility. Food appears last in a long line of demands, and your brain quietly resents it. You think you're choosing between pasta and eggs, but your mind feels like it's choosing between effort and rest. Modern choice doesn't feel like freedom, it feels like exposure. Too many options trigger a subtle threat response. Not panic, but pressure. The pressure of optimization. You're not asking, what do I want? You're asking, what's the best possible decision with the least regret? That question has no satisfying answer. Hunger makes it worse. Low blood sugar reduces cognitive flexibility. Your brain becomes rigid, literal, impatient. Instead of clarity, hunger amplifies emotional static. Everything sounds wrong. Everything feels disappointing before it even happens. You scroll delivery apps. You stare at menus you've seen 100 times. Nothing calls to you. This isn't pickiness, it's overload. Choice was supposed to make you happy, but your brain evolved to choose between 2 berries, not 200 meals. So it stalls. Freezing becomes the safest move. There's another layer you don't notice at first. A quiet fear hiding under indecision. Every choice contains a loss. The moment you pick one meal, all other possibilities die. And when you're already depleted, loss feels personal. Your mind whispers, what if this doesn't satisfy me? What if I regret it? What if this is the wrong comfort? So you delay. Delay feels like control. Standing there, undecided, you haven't failed yet. Nothing is ruined. Nothing is final. This is why indecision feels strangely safe. You don't notice the tension in your jaw, the subtle irritation, the sense that something small has become strangely serious. That seriousness isn't about food, it's about the accumulated weight of choosing all day long. By night, your brain doesn't want to decide, it wants to be decided for. This is why someone else ordering for you feels relieving, why routines feel calming, why whatever becomes your default answer. You're not lazy, you're saturated, and yet part of you feels ashamed because this should be easy. That shame tightens the loop. It adds pressure to an already overloaded system. Now it's not just hunger, it's self-judgment. The moment stretches, the fridge is still open. You feel oddly disconnected from desire itself, as if wanting something clearly would require more energy than you have. This is the illusion of choice. You appear free, but internally constrained. The options aren't the problem, your nervous system is. And until you see that, every menu will feel heavier than it should. Rule card. Indecision is often the symptom, not the conflict. Because once choice stops being about food, it starts revealing something deeper. In the next chapter, you'll see why you're not really choosing dinner at all. You think the problem is appetite. It isn't. The hunger is real, but the confusion comes from somewhere else. This is the second illusion, that food is just food. When you can't decide what to eat, you're not choosing calories. You are negotiating with your emotional system. Food is one of the last socially acceptable forms of comfort. No explanation required, no permission needed. So when you hesitate, it's because comfort itself feels complicated. You ask yourself what you want, but what you really want is something harder to name. Relief, grounding, a sense of being taken care of. Hedonic adaptation is already working against you. Your brain remembers that yesterday's favorite meal didn't fix anything. Pleasure fades faster than expectation, so nothing sounds worth committing to. This is why familiar foods feel both safe and disappointing. They promise comfort, but deliver repetition.
Novel foods promise excitement but demand energy, and energy is exactly what you don't have. So you hover, caught between boredom and effort. There's also attachment hiding in this moment, not the dramatic kind, the quiet, procedural kind. If your nervous system learned that comfort was inconsistent, you hesitate to reach for it. Even small pleasures begin to feel like risks. You unconsciously ask, will this actually soothe me, or will I feel let down again? So you delay the choice, not because you're indecisive, but because you're cautious. Food becomes a test, a tiny experiment in satisfaction, and you don't trust the results. There's another layer, identity. What you eat says something about who you are or who you're trying to be. Healthy, disciplined, relaxed, indulgent. Each option carries a quiet narrative, and you don't feel like performing tonight. So you reject them all. This is why I don't know feels honest. It protects you from choosing the wrong version of yourself. Notice how quickly the decision becomes heavy. That weight isn't hunger, it's emotional bookkeeping. You are tired of managing outcomes, tired of optimizing your own satisfaction. You don't want the best meal. You want something that doesn't ask anything of you. But most choices do. This is why being told what to eat feels calming, why routines remove friction, why repetition soothes. When choice disappears, so does self-surveillance. You're not failing at deciding. You're responding to internal complexity. The indecision isn't random, it's precise. It appears when desire, comfort, identity, and energy collide. So the question isn't, what should I eat? It's, what am I actually trying to regulate right now? Sometimes the answer isn't food at all. It's rest, or reassurance, or silence. But food is what your mind reaches for first, because it's tangible. This is the trap. You keep solving the wrong problem. Rule card. You don't crave food, you crave regulation. Once you see that, the confusion starts to make sense. But there's one final layer you haven't noticed yet, a deeper hesitation, one that has nothing to do with appetite. Because sometimes you don't avoid choosing food, you avoid committing at all. And that's where this really leads.